Hello friends, welcome to the today's session on separation techniques 5. Today we will be discussing about extraction of proteins, especially by using mechanical and non-mechanical methods. In our previous sessions we have discussed about separation techniques which are based on chromatography as well as electrophoresis. However, in this session we will be completely discussing about the methods which are specifically meant for separation of proteins. In this session, we will be covering the topics like use of grinding methods, homogenization and ultrasonication followed by French press methods. If you see, actually what is the need to separate these proteins? As we know, proteins are present inside a living cell and the cells are made up of membranes. If you look at the animal cell, it is made up of plasma membrane, whereas if you look for the plant cell, it is made up of cell wall. Similarly, bacteria, fungi and other things, they are made up of different types of cell walls and cell membranes. So to get the proteins out of these cells, we need to break the cells. That's why here we are using a particular terminology that is called as extraction. That means we are going to break the cell walls or cell membranes of these cells and then we are going to collect those proteins out of the cell. Apart from this, these methods will help us in the extraction and retrieval of the desired biological products. Along with that, these methods will help us to enhance the recovery of the biological products like proteins, enzymes and hormones. Why we are calling them as biological products? See, all these proteins, enzymes and other metabolites which are produced inside the cell, there is a purpose. That means every molecule has got its own role. And apart from that, commercially, when we are producing antibiotics, we are producing enzymes, we are producing hormones in the industry also. But after production, if you want to retrieve them, you want to enhance the yield of those proteins, then we need to break the cells and yield these proteins. If you look at this picture, here you can see three different types of cells. The topmost one is a typical animal cell and the rightmost one is your plant cell and the bottom you can see a bacterial cell. So all these cells, they are made up of different subcellular organelles, but however these cells have proteins and these proteins have diverse functions. That's why we are focusing how to break this cell wall and collect the proteins, molecules and organelles present inside these diverse biological cells. Here in this slide you can see the various methods that are adapted for cell disruption. The left side you can see the first one is non-mechanical method where we are going to use chemicals, enzymes and osmotic shock as a means to break the cell. On the right side you can see mechanical method of cell disruption. In this we are going to follow two ways. One is solid shear, another one is liquid shear. In this solid shear, we are going to adapt ball mill method as well as French press method, or whereas in case of liquid shear, we are going to use high pressure homogenization and ultrasonication. Let us begin with first method, that is non-mechanical methods. So in this non-mechanical method, the first one will be based on acids, alkalis and solvent treatment. In this method, we are going to take a cell. If you see at the bottom of the picture, you can see there is a cell which is intact or untreated. Once we are going to treat this cell with chemicals like acids and alkalis, you can see the membrane is going to be damaged. You can see the damaged cell membrane here. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are taking a natural cell, that is cell which is intact, and then we are treating this cell with certain chemicals. It may be acids or alkalis with different pHs. And along with these acids and alkalis, we can also use certain chemicals like alcohols and dimethyl sulfoxides. These chemicals destroy the membrane integrity by which the organelles present inside the cell will come out. Along with these organelles, the proteins present inside the cell will also come out. So this is a simple method which is non-chemical method. The other one is by using detergents, and detergents is the second method of disruption of the cells in case of non-mechanical means. If you see here in this second method by using detergents, what we are doing, we are using a chemical that is Triton X100, which is a non-ionic detergent, and the specificity of this detergent is it is going to solubilize the membrane proteins. That means if you want to separate proteins which are present on the periphery of the cell like receptors and other things, then you can use Triton X100, which will solubilize the peripheral membrane and release the proteins present on the membrane. The second one is SDS, sodium dodecyl sulfate. This is the one which we also use in the case of electrophoresis. And this is the detergent which is specifically responsible for the breakdown of hydrophobic interactions present inside the proteins. And the third one is ethyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. So this is a cationic detergent. So if you see at this slide, you can see all these three detergents of different nature. The first one is non-ionic, the second one is anionic, and the third one is cationic. So they have different ionic nature and they meant for the different purposes. Whereas the first one is meant for membrane proteins, second one is meant for the protein-protein interactions, and the third one is meant for the breaking of lipopolysaccharides and phospholipids. And moving further, on the left side of the slide, you can observe the intact membrane. That means the membrane before treatment. And such membrane, once exposed to any detergent, what will happen? You can see the membrane is now fragmented. You can see the fragmented membrane here. Okay, that means what we are saying, when we are going to apply the detergents, chemicals, the double layer of the membrane of the cell is going to be solubilized and destroyed, by virtue of which the cell is going to open, and then we can easily collect the proteins and other subcellular organelles present inside that cell. Yeah, moving further, the other one is enzymatic method. So as we know, enzymes are considered to be biocatalysts, and here we are using such enzymes which can destroy or dissolve and create pores on the membranes of the cells. If you see in this picture here on this arrow, we are using certain enzymes, and this is the cell which is intact. And what we are doing here, we are going to apply these enzymes on this cell, and you can see in this middle of the picture, you can see all the enzymes which are bound to the cell, that is enzymes attached to the cell surface. And being enzymes which are catalytic in nature, they can hydrolyze, they can break the bonds and membranes present on the cell wall, and then after that what will happen, you can see here the cell gets destroyed. You can see the pores formation. So here in all these three methods, what we are trying to explain you is, by using different methods we are going to damage the cells. And similarly here you can see, as we said, we have different cell membranes. One is plasma membrane, another one is the cell wall which is made up of cellulose, and similarly in case of fungi and other algae, there are different cell components. So that's why we are going to use pectinases, xylinases and other cellulases as enzymes in this method to break the cell walls. So moving further, if you see here, what we are doing, based on the nature of the organism which we are going to use for the yield of proteins, we are going to use different enzymes. For example, if we are going to work with bacteria, you will be using lysozyme as a source for gram-negative bacteria, which will break the beta-1,4 glycosidic bonds. Similarly, you will be using zymolase in the case of yeast and fungi. That means based on the nature of the cell wall, based on the nature of the cell membrane, we are going to use different types of enzymes which will break the membranes and allow us to collect the components, proteins which are present inside that particular cell. Let us see some of the disadvantages of these methods. So far we have discussed about different non-mechanical methods. So what are the disadvantages of these methods? So one is the cost, because if you have observed in the previous slides, we were using chemicals, we were using enzymes, and we were using detergents. So what will happen after breaking, if you want to yield the pure protein, you need to neutralize or you need to eliminate all these enzymes, what is called as chemicals and other detergents from that lysate. That is, neutralization is a cost effective process. Similarly, during these methods, there is a chance that you may lose the activity of the proteins. And in addition to that, this method is not applicable for the large scale productions. And similarly, the enzymes may hamper the quality of the protein which we are going to collect after downstream processing. In this osmotic shock, what is happening? We are going to use different concentration of the solutions. If you see in the slide, the left side you can see hypertonic, in the middle it is isotonic, and the rightmost it is hypotonic. That means the same cell, when it is exposed to hypertonic solution, what is happening here? You can see the cell is going to lose water. The water is coming out of the cell. By this, what is happening? Cell is going to lose water and cell is undergoing a stage that is called as dehydration, which will finally end up the cell in the form of a shrunk form. Shrunken cell you can see here. Similarly, in the middle one, that is isotonic solution. Here what is happening? So isotonic, that means the solution present outside the cell is having the similar concentration with that of the cell. That's why the loss of water and the intake of water, that means gain, the loss and gain both are equal. That's why it is showing a stage called as equilibrium, hence the cell remains normal, undisturbed. Whereas the third one, that is hypotonic. So in this case, if you observe here, the outside volume, outside cell solution is having less concentration, whereas the cell is going to have high concentrations. That's why water is moving inside the cell, which is also causing a sort of cell damage and cell rupture. So in these three methods, that is whether by using hypotonic or isotonic or hypertonic, in these three ways we are going to create a sort of shock, that means osmotic shock, a sudden change in the concentration, because of which what is happening, the cell membrane is going to be ruptured and we are going to collect the proteins present inside the cell. If you remember and recall all these four methods, starting from chemical method, enzymatic method, detergent method, and then the last one is osmotic method. In all these four methods, what we are trying to do, we were trying to break the cell membrane and collect the proteins present inside a cell. So moving further, the second method is mechanical. So in this mechanical method, the name itself indicates we are going to use some sort of pressure, aberrations and agitations, and apart from that we are going to use some ultrasounds. By using all these different types of pressures, we are going to damage the cell to yield the proteins present inside the cell. The first method is what is called by using beads. Okay, let us see the details of this one. So in this bead bill method, what is happening? If you observe in the middle of the circle, you can see the zirconia beads inside the drum of this equipment, and here the small particles are nothing but the cells. Now what we are doing here, we are going to mix the cells with zirconia beads, and then we are going to rotate the drum in a clockwise direction. So by means of which what is happening, we are going to cause a sort of what is called as physical stress pressure on the cells. That is, we are going to transfer the kinetic energy into the grinding elements, and those elements will create some sort of shear forces on the cells, by which the cell is undergoing to a kind of what is called as collisions, and further it is going to be disrupted and damaged. So here we are going to use small beads which will damage the cell and they allow us to collect the yield. That means proteins will come out of the cell. Okay. Then moving further, if you want to use smaller beads and you can use bigger beads. So if you are going to use smaller beads, you can collect the enzymes present in the cytoplasm, whereas if you use larger beads, you can collect the enzymes present inside the what is called as cytoplasmic membrane. And generally the optimal volume of the beads we are going to use is 80 to 85%. And this bead mill method is popularly used in ceramic industries where we are going to what is called as develop paints and other types of lotions. Okay. And what is the disadvantage of this bead mill method is the disruption efficiency and as well as the temperature control is a major limitation of this method. Moving further, that is French press method. So in this method, if you see, we are going to apply a pressure around which is 1500 bar. And with this pressure, what is happening? There is a sudden drop in the pressure which will discharge a cell, causing cell to explode. That means just imagine if you are going to what is called blow a balloon, and after certain volume what will happen? The balloon is going to blown. Similarly here also what is happening? We are going to apply a pressure and suddenly we are going to remove the pressure. So by means of these differences in the pressure, sudden change in the pressure, what will happen? The cell is going to explode. The moment the cell is going to explode, the proteins present inside the cell will come out and organelles will come out, which we can collect for the purpose of further characterization and further analysis. Let us see how we are going to do this method. If you see in this picture here, the left side, you can observe there is a cylinder-like structure, okay, and this cylinder-like structure is connected with a piston through which we are going to apply pressure, okay, and inside this cylinder there is a space where we are going to load our cell samples. And remember, these cells may be plant tissues or whatever, animal tissues or whatever it may be, we are going to load these cells. And after that, what is happening? We are going to apply the pressure. So when you apply pressure, the cells undergoing sudden disruption, by means of which the cells undergo a sort of change in the pressure and the damage will occur, and you can see the elute is coming out of the what is called as this cylinder, and this elute contains your proteins, okay. And if you observe on the right side, this is a whole instrument where we are going to perform this French press technique, but this is a cylinder which we are going to place here in this place, middle place, okay, and the pressure is applied and then you can collect the proteins coming out of this cylinder. Similar to this one, the next method is high pressure homogenization. So this is one of the widely used method for the disruptions. And here what is happening, similar to that of your French press also, we are going to create a sort of pressure, but only thing is here the cells are allowed to move through a narrow channel where they are going to express a high pressure shear force, by means of which cells will instantly explode and they are going to disrupt. You can see in this picture. So here what we are doing, we are just allowing cells to enter through a tunnel, a small cavity where the pressure is so high and cells are going to experience a sort of external pressure, and the moment the cells come out of the cavity, they will be explode. Okay, that means we are allowing them to enter from a wide entry and then to a narrow space, then coming out into a wide opening. So due to the changes in this wide to small and then to wide, there is a expansion and contraction of the cell membrane, by means of which cell is going to be exploded. You can see in the picture here. If you observe here, from the top we are going to load the sample and then we are going to apply a pressure also. So by means of which the sample is forced to enter into this small tunnel, which we call it as what is called as this shear force is developed here. Okay, from this wide opening it is entering into a small tunnel, and here it is going to experience the shear force, and then it is suddenly coming out of this small tunnel where it is going to explode. And in this entire phenomena is considered to be as cavitation. That means where the cell is going to expand suddenly, by means of which it is going to undergo a sort of explosion and it is going to be ruptured. And here on the right side you can see we can collect the small molecules and proteins that are coming out of the tunnels. You can see this. That means the cells undergo damage and we can collect. So this is the method which we call it as high pressure method. The things to be remembered in this method is we are going to use a increase in temperature, and along with increase in temperature we can maintain the pressures also. Because of this high pressure homogenization, this is routinely used in pharmaceutical industries. That means pharmaceutical industries, those who are producing antibiotics and bulk drugs, especially the biological drugs, they will be using this method to break the cells and yield the pharmaceutical products out of these cells. And one small limitation of this technique is it is very fast, continuous and easy, but because of this pressure there is a chance of losing the activity of the products. The next fourth method of this mechanical one is the sonication. If you see in this sonication method, what is happening? We are going to observe the pressure waves, and these pressure waves are in the form of ultrasounds, and then they range from small to, that means we can use from 1 ml of sample to 2 liters of the reactors. Here what will happen? The moment we are going to apply the pressure, these molecules will undergo a sort of shear stress. And similarly, here what is happening? In this mechanism, we are going to generate a force of up to 25 kilohertz. And these sonic waves will again create a kind of cavitation inside the cells, and cells will undergo explosion, and then we will collect the proteins. Yeah. So here what is happening? We are going to create a kind of agitation inside the cells, inside the solution where the cells are present, and because of this agitation cells are undergoing a kind of vibrations, a kind of sonic movements which will lead to the damage of the cell, and finally cells will explode. This picture shows you the complete unit of sonication. This is a control unit where you can increase and decrease the sonic waves, and through this probe the sonic waves will be transferred into the solution, and the sample present inside the solution will experience certain sonic waves, by virtue of which cells will undergo damage. Here in this picture you can see the left side, you can observe, for example, this is a sample holder, sample container, and inside this tube there is a sample. And the moment you are going to apply the sonic waves, that is ultrasonic horn, what will happen? The wave will generate. That means this water reservoir will experience certain sort of waves of high kilohertz. And on the right side you can see what will happen. As the time is increasing, the cells, here you can see the cavitation inside the cell is also progressively increasing step by step. And finally at one stage what is happening? The cell is going to explode. That means the time is increasing, and apart from that the cell is going to explode. This is a simple mechanical method that is called sonication. Advantages of this sonication is, the main thing is it is a simple method where you can use at low volumes and you can create without harming the surroundings of the solution and without creating major disturbance inside the cell. You can easily break the cell and collect the proteins present inside the cell. So these are the various methods which we were discussing, that is mechanical and non-mechanical methods. And moving further, there is a small method that is called freeze thaw method. So in this method, what we are going to do, we are going to freeze the samples in dry ice and as well as ethanol. So by this, what is happening, the cell is going to be hardened and frozen. After some time, the moment we are going to thaw, it is going to break. So if you see the word freeze thaw, first what is happening, we are going to freeze the sample. Okay, after freezing, you are going to slowly thaw the sample. That means we are increasing the temperature. So because of these changes in the temperature from very cold to light warm, the cell is undergoing a sort of damage. This is called freeze thaw method. And apart from this, there are few more methods which we can use, like by using blenders and polytrons and mortar and pestles. These are the other minor techniques which even you can use to break the cell walls. So this is about the first part of this extraction of proteins by using both mechanical and non-mechanical methods.